have the lovely Helen Lloyd joining us now, who's going to tell us a little bit about her involvement in Twisted 50, and it's quite a big involvement actually, so I'll pass you over to Helen.
Well, my role really was a complete accident, how it started. I worked with Stephanie Wessel, who wrote...
I know Stephanie, actually.
Stephanie. Yeah. I worked with Stephanie 20 years ago. We both worked in television, and we did various projects together when we were working there, and we kept in touch, social media, Facebook and all the rest of it. She wrote a film, I played the leading role in her film. We kept in touch.
What was that film?
It was called Gerald's Best Client. It's a lovely little short film, but it was lovely. And so we worked together quite a lot over the years, and she posted on Facebook that she'd been involved with Twisted 50 and her story was about to be published. There it was on her status on Facebook, and I said, we need to do an audiobook.
And this is what Helen...
And that's what happened, was this.
That's
so
really exciting.
She phoned me the next day and said, can you make this happen? And I said, yeah, absolutely, no problem. 50 narrators, 50 stories, yep, no problem at all.
And had you ever done an audiobook before?
Oh, I've done hundreds of audiobooks. Well, no, not hundreds. Yes, I've done lots and lots of audiobooks. But I've never actually done one with 50 different voices before.
And it's been incredibly successful, hasn't it?
I think so. I think so. It's been a real pleasure. Not all of the narrators are experienced. Some of them were absolute newbies. They'd never done anything before. It was a real pleasure and a privilege to be given other people's words and to be allowed to interpret them in a different way. It's scary because you're handing them back.
It's a huge responsibility.
Huge responsibility, because you have, these people have got their words in their head. They've lived with them for months and months and months, and suddenly they're handing them over to somebody else who's going to do them in perhaps a completely different way. And it is a huge responsibility, and it's always scary when you hand them back. You're never quite sure what's going to happen. And
were the writers involved in any part of the casting process or in terms of the vision?
No, because you can't. It's very difficult to say to an author, is this the right voice for your story? Because they will never be able to hear that voice, because they can't hear the completed thing until it's finished. And it has to be the completed thing. And you can't say to a voice actor, can you read this story? You may or may not be cast in it. It's not fair, because they invest so much in it as well. So the casting was down to me and Chris, basically.
And what's your feedback been like from the writers?
Absolutely phenomenal. So many of them had never listened to an audiobook in their lives before. And suddenly there they were. We don't. People don't. They're not as popular in the UK yet as they are in the US, for example. So a lot of people had never listened to their story being read by somebody else. So the feedback has been absolutely fantastic. It's been wonderful. And I know how scary it must be for them to press that play button and hear somebody else reading their words for the first time. It would be terrifying. If I were a writer, I'd be scared stiff.
But seeing them here tonight, they've been absolutely blown away.
It's been just great to meet so many of them and to have so much great feedback from them. And all, I'm sure I speak on behalf of all the narrators, that it is really seriously a huge privilege to be allowed to do that with somebody's words and somebody's writing.
Well, I know from all of the feedback I've heard tonight that you've done an incredible job, so congratulations on that.
It's been enormous fun, and thank you for the opportunity, and I hope there'll be more.
Well, I was going to say, do you think you'll be involved in the audiobook for Little Evil Sister?
I think if there's a possibility to do it, I'd love to be involved. I mean,
how about the film? Are you going to be involved in that?
I've no idea. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. But I'd love to open if there ever is another audiobook from Create 50 from any of the books, I'd love to open it and have it as an open competition.
That would be fantastic.
The problem with that, of course, is that you then have to, your costs increase, because you then have to bring people into a studio. because they wouldn't have all of the stories were narrated by narrators in their own studios and their own.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We've all the people who were involved in it have a recording studio at home that they work in themselves. Well, if you're opening it up to a wider number of people, they wouldn't necessarily have that. So, your costs go up. It's something we'd need to look at, but I'd love to do another one. And it was just a huge opportunity and such fun. And I had real nightmares over the period, not because I didn't think it would work, but because the stories were so bloody scary.
There are some very dark stories in there.
Having to listen to them every day after day after day, and I really seriously had nightmares.
Were you tempted to narrate any of the stories yourself?
I did narrate 2 of them.
2 of them. That's because you have an amazing voice.
I narrated one of the Little Sister stories and one of the Twisted 50 stories. So,
do you do a lot of voiceover work?
Yeah, I do audiobooks, mainly audiobooks, but I do other stuff as well.
But you're an actress as well?
Yeah, I trained as a classical actor. I spent the first 15 years of my career as an actor, treading the boards, working in theatres across the UK. And then I moved into television, and I did television for a while. I was a television presenter. Then I became a television producer, and made documentaries, narrated documentaries, did voiceover work. Then I went and moved back into theatre again on the production side of it. And then I took redundancy and set up at home with my own studio and started doing voiceover work again initially. And then I got into audiobooks in about the beginning of 2014. I started doing audiobooks myself. And I think I've just completed my 40th book. So
that's incredible. What an achievement. Congratulations. It's been such a pleasure to meet you this evening. I know that you've got a lot of people to speak to as well, but can I just ask you what your favourite film is, if you have one?
My favourite film?
Yes, your favourite film. Favourite horror film?
Oh, Psycho.
Psycho. Oh, good choice. Very good choice.
Absolutely, Psycho. Oh, yes. Although I'm also quite partial to the one with Jack Nicholson.
The Shining. The Shining.
Yes.
Yeah, that was incredible.
But I think Psycho is
iconic.
Scary. It's iconic. It is. And it's the music and the whole...
It's everything.
And the birds. I love all the Hitchcocks. All the Hitchcocks. He was a genius.
Absolutely. But he did call his actors cattle. I'm not sure how I feel about that. His actors cattle.
Oh, really?
Apparently. He said actors are cattle.
Oh, I didn't know that. I've gone off him in a big way.
He's still a genius, though, so we'll give him that.
I quite agree.
But it's been an absolute pleasure to meet you, and I wish you luck.
You too. Thank you very much.
I look forward to seeing what's going to continue with Great 50 and Twisted 50 and all of them. So thank you so much.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yes, bye.
Thank you for watching The Fan Carpet. If you like this video, be sure to click that thumbs up button at the bottom of your screen. And also be sure to subscribe to the Fan Carpet YouTube channels. They're absolutely free and so much fun too. Be sure to check out the official website, thefancarpet.com. Also, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to stay up to date with reviews, competitions, the latest news, and so much more.